This thing may not. There it is. There it is. All right. Yeah. Homework from now on is to be turned in. I find it takes a lot to put it together, so y'all gonna have to do it. Amen. Amen. I have some copies here of next week, and we'll get some copies for Deacon Basham. They think they're above the law. They think their name Trump. But that ain't happening. That is not happening. We're going to pray. Well, no, what we're going to do is finish the prodigal son. The second son is an interesting character, and I think we'll finish that, and we may go over into chapter 16 next week. If we don't get to chapter 16 and you want your homework back to work on it some more, Carrie will have it available for you. If we don't get it, Deacon Ransom, is he running? Deacon Ransom ran out. Did you do your homework? You were here last week. Did you do your homework? It's the first verses. It's the rich man. It's the steward. The steward. That's a very difficult text. I tell you, it's hard, and I want to see how you handle that particular passage. We're going to pray, and we're going to get started into in the Bible study. There are a lot of questions about the latter part of chapter 16 as well, which is the rich man and Lazarus. Challenging. It's a challenge. That's a challenging text to us on the way of our attitude toward the haves and have-nots and where we place ourselves in that passage. Because as I said to you, I normally see myself in the wrong place, I think, in a different place. Deacon Basham, Deacon Ransom, I know you did your homework. Mary said, yes, he did. Of course, Deacon Ransom loves to do stuff like this to figure out. He's a great challenge as it relates to that kind of stuff. These are not just little bitty baby questions about how to spell the chapter, nothing like that. These require some thought, right? They do require some thought and some study. She didn't do her homework either. I'm gonna make sure y'all get homework tonight. And for those of you who didn't do chapter 16, I really want you to do chapter 16, starting at verse 1, because it's a challenging passage. What it will do is I don't know how many of you have meditation time. I'm not going to ask you to raise it with the word at home. I don't know how many of you have it, but this will give you a reason to have it. It will give you a purpose. I'll throw you under the bus if you don't have it. Tiffany, you have your homework? Do you have your homework? So, Bernard, you got your homework? Bernard wasn't even here last week. The tribal leader made sure. Listen to this. This is us off the hook. The tribal leader made sure. Which one are you giving out now? 16? Okay, you're going to get some more. So Carrie, come on up, and we're going to make sure. I want you to make sure you get it because it's a challenging passage. Yeah, we're taking up the homework from last week. Right now, we need to get that with your name on it. Color-coded with your answer. Don't be trying to get no attaboys. Ain't that something? Deacon Lockett and Deacon Basham over here. Don't be trying to duck Deacon Basham. You didn't get your homework out either? You didn't get it out then? Oh, no, you didn't get it out. Oh, no, you didn't get it. Okay. He needs another copy too, right here. He give him another copy so he won't come and talk about the cat ate it when I got back. The cat ate it up. Now, Carrie, they are asking for email. They're asking to email. Some people don't use paper anymore. I ain't gonna call Sister Richardson's name. No, they want you to email it to them. You already have their email, I think. So if you want an email, just tell Kerry about it, and he'll get it to you. And we may have a way to put it online in the future. Kerry's thinking about it. Oh, Lord. You had last week. You did your homework, Terrence? Terrence, sir? You do your homework?
I wasn't here last week. I didn't.
Give it to him again so he can get it done. Give him chapter 16. Make sure he gets that. Yeah. I have to. You may not believe it. I am impressed with your biblical acumen. Is that a good word? That was close. I didn't go to that college. That's good. I said that. That's right. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Not so much the technical stuff, but you are an applicable people. You look at the Bible from how it applies, and you explain it for how it applies. Now, I deal in a range of theologues who deal with the technical apparatus of the blah 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 blah, which don't mean nothing. You know, if your biblical understanding does not contain pedagogical inputs, which is teaching, things that teach. And when you respond, it lets me know that you see the passage in a living way, and that's good. That's good. Son, did you do your homework? That ain't no excuse. Make sure she get homework. Yeah, get your homework. Get your homework. Amen. And here again, did Lockett and Bash and both lead? They having a meeting? Oh, I'm about to say, don't be trying to do it now, Basham. You got to pay attention now. Listen. It gives you an opportunity, a reason to have to sit and go through the Word of God. It gives you that reason. You may have another time that you do meditations. I know people have daily meditations, and that's good. But this is one of those places where, one of those times where it won't take long, I don't think. But we're going to pray and get started. We love you, Father. We thank you. We give you glory, honor, and praise. You know all of our needs. Just let your will be done. Guide us. What's difficult for us as your children and those who dwell in your kingdom, what's difficult, even though we say it, is that thing of loving everybody. Because there are some things and people that we really don't like very much. But you didn't tell us to like them. You told us to love them. And love means we treat them the way we want to be treated. So it means we don't down talk them. We don't call them crazy names. We don't gossip. We love them, and if they're in need and we have the opportunity, we have to help because we are yours and not our own. So you know all the things that we need. We won't even list them, and we know you're able to provide. Open our hearts and our mind as we enter this word. Teach us that the word will empower our spirit. Do that in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. The prodigal son. We done in chapter 15 of Luke. We had done the 100 sheep got lost. No, the 100 sheep, one got lost. And we did the coins where the woman had 10, and it's unique. The feature is unique that he goes from sheep because the men would understand the sheep story, and then he uses women, which is interesting. For only a woman would understand how important the dowry is, the coin is, because it's something that goes with her in marriage. And then we did the prodigal son. The sheep were 1%. It was one of 100. 10% with the coin. She only had 10. She lost one. And then you have 50% with the two boys. One gets lost. And we talked about last week. And it was interesting because you took me places last week I didn't really want to go, wasn't ready to go. And we talked about some parenting skills, some parenting perspective in the prodigal son. And one of the noticeable things that stuck out for me, and always have stood out for me, was how the father divided and then didn't argue about it and then didn't go looking for the boy. You notice that? He waited for him, but he didn't go looking for him. He didn't go up and bail him out of jail, out the hog pen. He didn't go try to drag him away from the bars. And one of the words that the older brother is going to use is that he wasted his money on harlots. But the father never went. And it may be a teachable minute for us as parents, in that every now and then we have to let our children suffer the consequences of their action. It's hard. We'll go get them out of trouble. Get them, they go back in trouble. Get them. Then I ain't gonna do it no more. And get them. You don't have kids, so you're not there yet. I heard you last week too. But we'll do it over and over again, won't we? What do you think about that? Maybe none of you've had to do that. I am guilty over and over and over again, to the point that let me just say it like this. You go get the pig and bring him back from the pig pen, he's still a pig. And I remember saying this to some parents one time when their child, and it's their child. Now, I never tell anyone what to do with your child. That's your child. That's your child, because I'm not going to let you tell me what to do with mine. Walk up to me and tell me, if I was you, if it was my child, I'd do so and so. It's not your child, it's mine. If my decision is a bad one, I don't tell, because you see, it's important. That's important, because if I say to someone, listen, I would leave them so and such, and they die or get killed, taking my advice. That's why I don't go there. I don't do that kind of stuff. I can give you some in-home things. I remember a young lady jumped out the window, and I don't know why. What, the guys go out the window also, sneak out the window? The guys come in the window. That's a whole scenario, another scenario. Girls snuck out the window, and the little guys sneak in the window. Well, this parent had a little girl who snuck out the window when she woke up and went looking, it wasn't there, and so when she snuck back in and everything, Mom just stayed asleep. But the next night, she took the door off the room door. She nailed down the windows. Well, that didn't change anything. She still snuck out. So she put a pallet beside her bed, put a bell on her door, made that child sleep on the floor for several months. Changed her habits. So there are all kinds of parenting techniques. But this father in this passage might tell some of us something or teach some of us something. Sometimes we have to allow our children to suffer the consequence of their action. That's all that's saying. Now, don't be saying that to grandparents, because we too crazy. We're not going to do that. Most of us grandparents, you may have to talk to us real strong before we let our grandchild stay outside or sleep on the floor, any of those kind of stuff. We get mad. Someone didn't let one of them. I don't repeat this stuff now because I could get in trouble. I mean, I was hurt a few weeks ago because one of my little grandbabies didn't want to eat what they were given for breakfast. So I'm saying, open up the aisle, whatever they want. Well, this parenting one threw the sandwich in the trash can. I'm hurting. I almost cried. I wanted to go get a hamburger truck and drive to the school and just go ahead and pump hamburgers or something. It was hurting to me that happened as a grandparent, but the parent is trying to do something. And that is teach the child to appreciate.
You grandparents make parenting hard.
That's our job. In my case, it's my job. You ain't changing my story.
No, I'm talking about my parents.
Okay, yeah, it's your parents' job, Grandma, too. I'm sorry. Just keep them away. Say what?
Y'all didn't treat us like that. We did certain things. We was in trouble. They did certain things.
Oh, I want to get this family for right here. Oh, we getting this thing started. We warming up.
My friends come to my house. They know I don't play. I mean, I have plans in my house. Where you let them play at your house, I might not let them play at my house. If they want some candy or something, give some candy. No, you're not going to put them in front of me. No, you leave them alone.
Okay, I believe you.
See, she lets us get to my, oh, they get that honey bun. No, they can't get no honey bun. They didn't even eat dinner yet. No, this one.
Honey bun got all the nutrition and sugar and stuff. Okay, we got a family fight started over here. My grandmother was much stricter than your mom ever could have been. She was like a prison-worn person. It was crazy, and it was protective, especially of me, because my mouth would not stay closed when perhaps it should have. And I more than likely would be in jail or in another hot place if it had not been for the tightness she had on me, because I wouldn't just talk and ask questions when someone did something wrong, care what color they was in that time period. That was very dangerous to do some of the things that she prayed about me doing. But when I took one of my children home, you know how they wear the little dress things for so long, I don't care what sex they are. He had that on, ran through the house and broke everything I couldn't touch when I was up there. Everything, broke it. I'm going like, she gonna get him now? Oh yeah, it's finna be on. She said, oh baby. I'm going like, I gotta kill him for touching the thing. And I know your feelings, sugar. But I take out the grandparents. That's so we talked about some parenting things. Someone said something last week that I wanted to reiterate or mention it. Sometimes if the parents' relationship is not right or they're not together in front of the child, then the child will take advantage of the divisive relationship. Does that make sense? So the child know that mom and dad are fighting. And we tried that. When they get in an argument, I go ask for something. Can you get so and such? Yeah, go get it. Yes. And so sometimes the relationship is not right. You have to, in marriage, you have to team parent. You have to sit down and discuss. You can't let the child get between you. Can't do it. Fathers are usually guilty for being giving girls license, and mothers are usually guilty for giving boys license. And so you have to talk, the couple have to talk their way of how they're going to parent that child. Does that make sense? I'm probably going to say this to another group of folk, because most of y'all look beyond childbearing. Yeah, y'all look like Sarah and Abraham over here. No, I said most. I didn't say all y'all. I know what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a lot of Abraham and Sarah. I'm dealing with a lot of Abraham and Sarah in here. They glad of it. Don't get me wrong. They ain't mad because I said it. They ain't mad about it. They're not mad about it. So
Janet Jackson just had one at 50.
Janet Jackson did what?
Just had a baby at 50.
She ain't gonna take care of it. Somebody else gonna take care of it. Oh God, get that off Periscope. The father's son come home and he says, my son was dead and is alive. And there's another child, the older son, who's in the field. Let's read that part of the passage tonight in the 15th chapter of Luke. Burbage, you did your homework? Huh? Get Carrie. Carrie, did you do your homework? Put your name on it and turn it in. Threw Carrie and Bourbon on the bus at one time. Yeah, we got some more copies. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll get some more. The last part of this prodigal son story, starting at verse number 25. His oldest brother, or the eldest son, was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing, and he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, thy brother is come, thy father has killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry, the elder brother, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, lo, these many years I served thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment. And yet thou never gave me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with, King James Version says, harlots. For y'all, that would be prostitutes. Thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. That calf was the one they prepared in the event strangers came by, a dignitary came by. It kept him fatted up. A special calf. And he said unto him, son, thou ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was right or meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. One boy was lost because he left. The other got lost at the house. The other who was there, I want you to think about what Jesus is doing now. You have to go back to the first two verses to understand. The sinners that he talks about in the first, the sinners drew near. That's the son, that's the emblem of the son who went off and got in the hog pen. But the Pharisees mumble, that's the image of the boy who stayed at home. You get it? Jesus is speaking to them from this perspective. That's why we shouldn't look over what's going on here. Now look at it, and you'll see a couple of features. One of the features is that in the shepherding feature, as it relates to the lost sheep, when the shepherd went looking, he went looking for what? One what? He went looking for one sheep. One sheep. Not a goat. He didn't go looking for a drunkard. He didn't go looking for a crackhead. Ever what condition the sheep was in the shepherd's mind, it was still a sheep. The church often handled people by their condition. Does it make any sense? So sometimes we give ease to the fact they're gone because they're out in the world. And it justifies us not. We treat them like their condition. With this son, watch the feature. The son came home. The oldest son tells the daddy, your son, not my brother. But he has an issue that's an issue that we got to think about. Is the person outside of the bounds of whatever we imagine we are they still do we still treat them like they're our brothers? The servant says in the passage, your brother, when the father, now notice something, the father never goes to get the other boy comes out and the father meets him. Now when the son doesn't come in, the father goes out to check on him. And in the discussion, understand, this young man has gotten mad because the younger brother is getting something that he feels like the younger brother doesn't deserve. Doesn't deserve by his actions. I'm upset, Dad. Church folk, can have the same attitude when folk come. Can think I'm better than them because I've been in the choir all my life. I'm closer to God. He likes me better. Kind of thing. We can treat folk that way if we're not careful. And we have to assess ourselves. We have to assess our own selves. I can't assess you. I'm just talking about some things I have done in my mind. Notice this young man is angry. Why is he angry? Anybody want to take a snap at it?
Well, one thing is, the father,
Somebody said jealousy. Who said jealousy? Jealousy.
the father did something for him that he didn't do for him.
What?
He gave what he considered the best to someone who betrayed the father. And he hadn't even done that for him. When he feels like he had been there all the time, he's been committed. So he did something. The father did something that for that son, which he probably considers lost.
No, the father. No, not in the parable. The father doesn't consider the elder son lost.
Now I'm talking to brother.
Mm-hmm.
That he didn't even do for. Let me personalize it. You did something for him that you didn't even do for me, and I've been here with you.
And that made you mad. That made him mad.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You think the folk do that?
Yes. That causes a lot of civil rights.
Do you think that children get mad with each other based on how they're treated by a parent? Now this spirit goes back to the spirit of Esau and Jacob and Joseph and his brothers. There's some connotations that go on as it relates to that. So you're saying your children can get upset because they think you're doing more for one than another? Oh, she had thrown you under the bus. No, that's good. Now that's good. This is real good stuff. We in therapy now. So since you throw her under the bus, why did she say that about you? Oh, in the church. You can't call your mama. You got to hit in the mouth with the backhand.
Example.
Okay.
Christmas, cause my son don't come and see me or call me like my two daughters do. They always check on mom. My son, being a son, I get him this Adidas, Nike outfit, this whole outfit, and then they get mad. You don't even come do this for you. You don't come do that for you. They got mad.
Wrong night for y'all at Bible study. Get the periscope out.
My brother don't do nearly as much as we do for her. Paul, if she calls and says, can you do this? He don't come. But you just said and bought him a whole Alabama suit, a whole
A fatty calf.
She done went online and ordered this suit, and she done bought us one pair of boots. She done got him like 3 gifts and bought us one pair of boots.
She killed the fatty calf for that rascal, didn't she?
I think it was a pair of boots that she couldn't even fit. That's why she gave it to us.
She bought the boots for herself, and that is a little low.
She just pointed out a couple of things, how you might have did your daughters like this man did his son in the back. That's how she pointed out. So I'm just saying, it sounds like
They on her side so far.
I'm not still on her side.
Whose hand? Oh, Rose finished. All right, Rose, go. I don't know. You always come up with something. You and Carrie. What's up, Rose?
I was just going to say, when you were asking why the brother was mad, I think one of the other reasons he was mad is because the father was so quickly to forgive.
Oh, my God, you hit it in the nose. He wasn't thinking about that, though. He wasn't thinking about the idea of forgiveness. And you have to take this back to verse 1 and 2. The Pharisees had no concept of the heart of God for forgiveness, or the idea that the one, I used to call myself the black sheep of the family of God, and he spent more time with me because I had a greater need than did, and I was perhaps in more danger. She's like the oldest boy, she's still mad. She ain't coming. Christmas is a new. You need to do better this Christmas, though. I'm telling you. Okay, we'll talk later. And so the forgiveness. The son is unforgiving. What else you see in this passage?
I got a general question.
General, so everybody can answer.
So he been busy out in the field, right? The eldest son. How did he know what the younger son was out there doing with what he had? I mean, because he came back and told the father, because the father didn't know.
You can look at a crackhead and tell.
True.
He lost weight.
But you can't look at somebody who's been engaging with prostitutes and tell they've been with one.
If you've been eating hog food, you can tell. Don't get so technical with this text now. I know how you are. The text implies that he knew the boy had been thrown down. No. The features are there for a reason. It's telling us that that's what the child did. It's also saying that the older brother knew what the son had done.
Right.
Okay?
Right, which would make me wonder if the, I mean, you can kind of see in the text, take yourself in the text with that, is that if the brother didn't know he was in the hog pen,
That's what I was getting to.
and didn't do nothing, but that's a whole.
That's not what the text says. The text.
I know it doesn't say that, but for him to know what the boy been doing, he knew something.
Well, he probably knew. Okay, let's do it this way. Do you know the folk you live with?
Right. Or he knew he had that problem before he left home.
And what's your point, Terrence? I'm just trying to make one. What's the question? What's the question now, Terrence? I don't know how he knew, but he knew. According to the text, I don't go there with me. He knew that the boy had done been out there and spent all his money and was broke and jacked up. He knew that. He wasted the inheritance. He wasted it. He knew that.
Another thing is, too, if you notice, he came back home because that was the only place that he had to go. The fact that he showed up back at the house said, okay, I done messed up. I ain't got nowhere else to go. So he came back home.
That's not what the text says, actually. That's not what it says. But that's not what the text said, though. I got you. But read the text closer, and it says, while in the hog pen, he came to himself and recognized what a good father he had and how well the father treated even servants. And I don't want to be a son anymore. I don't deserve to be. So let me go. I'm going to ask my dad if he'll let me be one of his slaves. I hear you. But a new person went home. See, the young man left home saying, give me. When he came back, read the text, he says, take me.
But and that's key. When you talk about a lot of these parents letting them
Suffering consequences.
come home, because they let the kids come home just like they was when they left the same morning.
You brought that up. Now, why do we do what you're saying? Why is it that we parents will most of us, I see one or two. I see two sitting close together over there who this parable wouldn't work for. They were hardcore. I don't like either one of them when it comes down to parenting. So why is it that we allow that unrepentant child to come back in? I'm not talking about underage either, because underage you kind of got a responsibility. I'm not talking about underage. What you said? You said love?
I think that with me coming into a new stage of parenting, with Christopher being 20 now, it's kind of hard to let him go a little bit to see.
Yeah.
So I think it's for parents, you get that experience also. So it's for you as a parent, to get the experience of how to let them go and do whatever.
You're talking about just in general. Well, you don't have the phenomenon in the feature. There's a feature in the text that said this young man had disrespected his dad by saying, I'm going to treat you like you were dead. You're dead to me. Give me my inheritance. He go off and waste it. And he comes, after he repents, he comes to himself and understands how good dad really is. And can I share something with you? I didn't know how good my grandmother was until I left. She was a monster. Anybody ready to whoop you before you get out of bed? Anybody whoop you while you saying your prayers? No, I ain't say nothing wrong. And you know, we say the Lord never failed. Well, I thought the Lord failed that night. I had whips on my back to show it, but that's a whole different conversation. We're at this idea, why do we do that? Somebody said love. It's your child. Do we think about it from that perspective? I think as we've gotten older, we talk about it from that perspective. But doesn't it reflect us on us?
I think if people love the embarrassment of someone saying that your child is not.
It reflects on me poorly.
But I'm listening to this and these last few things, understanding like my sister and her husband and letting my nephew come back home when he had slipped mouth when he left, came back with slipped mouth. And then said this is the last time, he ain't come back up in here no more. But the thing is, he wasn't ready to come back into the house, but they allowed him to come back into the house. And so when he got out this, now he's out this time, they still want to have control because he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And it's that parenting thing. You got to let him fail for a minute. Let him fall and sit in that hog pen for a minute.
Hold it. Let me stop you right now. Now, I can take your devil man and your misbehaving. You are not going to disrespect me in my house. You're not going to curse me one time. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be worried about what you're going to do. None of that. You is not going to curse me in my house and stay in the house where I'm paying the utilities and the utilities, and it's not going to happen. You're going to grandparents' house. I don't care where you go, but you cannot. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm not talking about your nephew. I'm talking about some other folk children. I'm not talking, huh? I'm not, yeah. And see, a problem with that is that you have to start when they're young. Get your thread in while they're in Pampers. Yeah, because it doesn't stink then. You laughing about it. But every now and then you got to do something to let them know that this, and you have to, see, they're not our toys. I'm not speaking from a grandparent perspective. I'm speaking from a parent perspective. They're not our toys. If you don't do something, when a baby would bite my grandmother bit the baby back. Baby, Grandma, what you do? You bit me. What? You bit the tiny poor little baby. I bet you won't bite me no more. And they didn't.
But we bite other people, though.
Hey, Grandma said they wouldn't bite me. Well, if the other people bite them, they wouldn't bite them no more either. But that's a whole nother argument we're in here. And so here's what this brother, let's get back to this brother because y'all got me all off case tonight. This brother is angry because he's continuously worked diligently. And nobody threw him a party. Church people could say that anytime. I have a problem because I think every now and then we need to stop. Because someone can come and be here 2 years and get a plaque and get an award and how great they've been in 2 years, and you've been there 30 years, 40 years, and nobody ever say nothing but complain about you, Deacon Lockett. Them big old handicap thing. You must thought we were for blind people, them big handicap thing. But y'all see the new handicap? Deacon Lockett put a handicap up so he could park in front, so I couldn't park out there no more. He got them big old, disability thing out there. You got to be.
It appears that the church is finally complying with the law, but go ahead.
Thank you, Nancy. I didn't get that.
No, it's a little law based on the size, we got added the deal of that.
And so the son, he doesn't appreciate the forgiveness, and he won't go into the party. Now listen again, because I need you to hear this. He says to the father, your son, who's been out there in the world with harlots, haven't done anything for you. I've been here all this time, and you've never done anything for me. Problem with that is it's not true. At the first of this particular parable, the young man came and said, give me what falls to me. And the text said he divided his living between both of them. The oldest had a double portion. He could have used it any way he wanted. He'd already given both the inheritance. So actually, what the young man was complaining about was his. He gave it to him. He divided at the same time, remember? And so this young man was really not working from his heart. He's talking about the Pharisees. They were doing right because they thought that they deserved something and God owed them something by their works. They thought they were saved by their works. They thought what they were doing. But if you don't do the right thing with the right attitude, you cannot blackmail God. And I tried it. I know I tried. I still try it sometimes. You know, clean up my act because I need something. No. I'm telling you this because it's so true that we try to do better before God because it may not be something I need as a person, some physical thing. I may want God to do something in the hospital for somebody else through my prayers.
I think you give the perfect example sometimes. Before we get on the plane, we get our Bible and get our scripture read, and we're going to read our Sunday school.
Take my house Bible on the plane. Had to pay $25 to get it in there. Because this young man thought he deserved something. This is wonderful because it speaks to us in the church and tells us that if you're working for the Lord, one thing, that's good. The other thing, there shouldn't be no expectation. You just should be glad that God has allowed messed up you. In the oldest son case, he actually thought he was better than the young son. He was angry, and y'all touched some things in here that I don't know how to work with, and that is this idea of children being upset because the parent does more for one than for the other. I think it's wonderful. Did you tell Mama how you felt about that?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have that chewing gum thing, did you?
No.
It don't look like it that happened. There's still some bitterness about that. But the idea, what did she say? That they felt that way.
No.
I was trying to get you off the hook. It should have.
It hurt my feelings a little bit. But it hurt my feelings though.
It should have. Don't do it no more. The next time the feeling won't get hurt. But I will share with you something, and all of you. Every child is different. Every child has different needs. Every child. And I will not take it from you and say that there aren't some parents who show favoritism toward a child. There are. There are some. I'm not saying you do that. I'm saying there are some. There would probably be, you ever heard of middle child syndrome?
I mean, I've heard it.
Are there any middle children in here? Middle children. You middle children. Most middle children feel as if they're not treated fairly when it comes down to the parents. Sometimes it's just a feeling because the baby gets a lot of baby attention, the older child gets a lot of privilege, and the middle child gets yelled at a lot. Sometimes no, go ahead.
All of y'all know Kayla. That's my middle child. So she came home Sunday.
Don't tell on my baby.
No, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you do. She came home Sunday, and because she has something to do Monday, and she hadn't been home in a while, and so there's still just a lot of pictures up that we had for graduation, and so
That did not faze me with her. Because, I mean, and I know she wasn't really, she was just saying what she saw. And I said, Kayla, there's a picture here right there. It's a wallet. But, you know, each child is different.
Different, yeah.
She's a girl. I had two boys, older and younger, boys. And you don't treat every child different. I can't treat Kobe like I treated Edward because times are different. And not just the children, the parents are different. We've grown up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
First child used to get the worst treatment.
You know what you would have done, what I did with him at 21. I didn't do the same thing for the others because we're now older parents.
Okay. Did somebody else? Was that, yes, ma'am?
For me, my situation was different. In one household, I was the baby. In another household, I was the oldest.
Ooh.
So it's different, but I was treated the same way. When I talked to my parents about it, most parents, I'm not a parent, so I'm not gonna hold you to it. Most parents, they code and gave my brother everything because they felt like my brother wasn't as strong as I was, and I was more independent, that I could stand on my own. So they didn't, oh, I love you, and oh, she's just so perfect. And they were hard on me, but turned out I know more successful than my not to back talk.
Right.
You, as a parent, you see different things in different children, so you have to treat them accordingly. Like, for me, it hurt my feelings that my mama didn't have big pictures of me in the living room. But my brother needed that.
Just a little wallet for
Right,
you.
He needed that reassurance. For me, it hurt my feelings, but it made me strive to be better. It made me want to,
Have your own table to put your big picture on.
right, have my own. But looking back, thinking about it, I'm now happy that my parents treated me
Gotcha.
different than the way they treated my brother, because I could have ended up like my brother. Not that anything's wrong with my brother, but if something happens to my mother, I'm going to have to be there for my brother, because my mother made me strong. She said, go out into the world, fall, bump your head, and it'll be all right. My brother, she saw something in him that wasn't as strong as it was in me, even from an early age. So
Thank you. That helps a lot of us out. That helps you out right there. Remember what so when you tell her that the next time, okay? We'll talk about.
Right now, I'm over here like,
But in saying that, when you have people like that, because I know if you look at us, we are stepbrothers, and then we got this little one that's like 12 years younger than me. And so I was a baby for so long. Then he come along. But one thing,
Knock you out of your spot. I hear some animosity here.
no, because I love him. But what you just said is we was raised one way.
Mm-hmm.
Us the top three. And when it got time and she was tired, she coddled him. She let him do what he wanted to. He could bring animals in the house. We could handle pets. But the thing with it is now, but his personality, he would take stuff apart because he liked to see how it works. So he would take your VCR, your TV apart.
Get beat down
No,
in my house.
No, that's, he's just creative. But the thing with it is when you have the older kids and we're looking at that, we see something different. We like spanking, whooping, this, at 2, you potty train in our household. That's everybody on my mom's side of the family. When you 2, you potty train. He was forced. They're taking off his pull-up. What? But those types of things now, we look at him now, and she was, like you said, she was fostering something in him, that idea, that creative, working with his hands and taking stuff apart. That's his mind. He's one of those, absent-minded engineers.
Yeah, Terrence know what you're talking about. Terrence know what you're talking about.
It's a group of y'all that we're the same page.
But we parent. You're saying we parent each child differently.
You should parent each child different, because I'm listening to her story right now. I more than likely believe throughout the year, because she sees her daughters more, they probably get more throughout the year. Right. So when you look at Christmas, he gonna get more because I haven't done for him throughout the year because I don't see him and I don't think. But they don't think about it from that perspective. They just think about it when you
Okay, all right. Let's. Okay, Chair. Okay. All right. We're gonna have to go to therapy around here now. I got two hands. Hold up. This is out of hand. I got one before yours, Ms. Johnson.
I know what he's talking about the middle child, because I came from a family with 6 girls before I came along. Then there was another girl, and then another boy. So it was like I was.
I'd have moved out.
Mama pampered me. She pampered me.
He didn't have to do anything.
Firstborn boy, but Daddy wanted to do the same thing, but Mama wouldn't allow it.
Your mama wouldn't allow your daddy to make you strong.
Exactly.
You have cases of that. You have cases of that. But that's what I was talking about earlier. There has to be a conversation about why I want to do this. Most fathers are concerned, first of all, with the health of their child. Number 2 on the plate, if it's a son, is sexuality.
Yes, exactly. That's what I figured. God either put
It's innate. It's innate in. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Okay. Huh? It might be first. I mean, it doesn't matter in the long haul. Even if it doesn't work out our way, that's going to be our child. That's not the issue. But in the training period, because, like I said, children reflect us. We think that our children is reflecting us. We dress them and send them in the community. We want them to look good because they're not going to talk about the child, they're going to talk about us. We want them to have good grades and be smart because it's going to have a reflection upon us in every aspect. And sometimes we do things that we shouldn't do for them, not because they deserve it, but because of the reflection upon us. So we don't discipline the way we should because it reflects us badly. We don't put them out the door. We don't want to go by the mission and see our child now out the mission. When you got boys, mama ain't gonna let you really press down like you want to press down. But that's a whole different argument. Really? We'll do therapy on that. And I got about 4 or 5 cases around here. I got to do group therapy over here. I'm really. Mr. Johnson, you were next.
I was gonna take it a whole different way. You saying like even like the Christian, like you said, one church I was at.
Wow.
Talking about favoritism and.
Whoo. Child, I heard that a whole lot. I heard that a whole lot.
Maybe about 2 years, but he told them, every time the door opens, they're here. How often are you here? So then after that, we start seeing them every time the door. So then you saw it was like a
coming.
Because then after every time you start seeing them more.
Whose hand was you? Mary.
The last question.
What does it say?
What does the action of the older brother say about the saints?
I wrote that question because she almost touched it right then. The action of the older brother. And that's what I was saying earlier. We have to assess ourselves. I hate to make judgment on everyone. We have to assess ourselves and see how we treat people who've fallen and failed and going out. How do we treat the crack addict, the drug addict, the drunk, the girl who's had 12 babies, that's an exaggeration, out of wedlock? How do we treat them? Are they our sisters and brothers, or do we just treat them like somebody God made? Look at what the boy says. He says, you're a son, but the father says, you're a brother. The son had cut off a relationship and should have been glad, too, that his brother. It shows us that the son was almost happy that the young boy had left and didn't want him to come back. Didn't think he was good enough, that he'd done too bad. And maybe on a natural plane, that's true, might have been true. But this passage is showing us how God is. And so if God's attitude that way and we're following God, the attitude of God should be our attitude. It should line up with God regardless of what our selfish mentality think. If I'm going to have the mind of Christ, then I'm going to be glad. I'm going to search for the sheep, seek the sheep, search for the coin, and accept the return of my brother.
And the assessment for us in the church is to ask ourselves a question, that if someone lost comes in this building, do we attribute ourselves to be jealous because God does something great for them, even though they just came in and we've been here the whole time?
Let me just, I'm going to share this on and I'll leave you all with this. The church was a literal apparatus to me for a long time, and I did it simply on the fact that that's what Grandma said do. And so it was more about that than my heart for the church. God began to gift me a long time before I got it. God began to gift me to be who I am, and I had gifts that I didn't deserve. And I would come into church and do speeches and do stuff and whatever. It was just like a part of me. God had gifted me before I had actually changed, if that make any sense. And so a lot of times when, see, God got some better singers under the bridge than he does in the choir. You got some better preachers pushing baskets right now than in the pulpit and coming out of seminary. And there's no need of getting angry. You know, when the thing about it is, all the gifts that he put together work together for one whole. And so as far as being jealous, I don't know whether that is the case. Don't ever be jealous of somebody's gift because you don't know what they had to get through in order to sharpen it. This young man had to go to the pig pen and almost eat pig slop in order to come to himself that he wasn't worthy. The young man in the field You don't like us no more?
She talked back. Pastor, she got in trouble in school. Somebody, the teacher said I was talking back. I said, what did you say? She said I ain't do something. I told her I did. You talk back. You just shouldn't be quiet.
No,
That's talking back, isn't it?
no, it's not, because she was trying to blame something on me that I did not do. She was not going to do that.
Praise the Lord. Okay, y'all need to get some family counseling. I don't even charge. Listen tonight. Next week we'll start with the 16th chapter of Luke, and we go